I think a lot of people are, and I want to be careful when I use this word because it is a very loaded word, but a lot of people are very stupid when it comes to the way that they show up, and specifically the way that they show up in relation to like specific connections. Because a lot of people will assume that you are ignorant, that you don't know better, just because you do not articulate what you do know. And I feel like a lot of the times it's a reflection of their own intelligence. Like, I feel like that sounds really fucked up, but it's like most people project their intelligence onto people. Like, at some point, I love to assume that other people were as intelligent as me. But like, slowly I'm learning that this is just not the case. Like, a lot of people put on a facade, put on a show, and pretend to be like intellectual and like deep and all that. Because the thing about philosophy, the thing about like these deep concepts is that in order for it to like make a difference, you have to actually apply it to your life. And I was thinking specifically to myself about the concept of like, like how people say that if if you're shining, if you are feeling passionate, feeling full of energy, and it triggers the people around you, that's not something you should concern yourself with. We can have conversations with that. We can talk about that. And I'm sure so many people would agree, like, I shouldn't have to dim myself to make other people comfortable. Right? We can say that. We can verbalize and be like, yeah, that's true. But when it comes to actual application, a lot of the people who agree with that don't apply it to their life. Because when you're actually in that situation where you're being blinded by someone's energy, then you're like, oh, do you mind turning that down? And it's like, no, like, you literally, like, I don't know, so many people are like very hypocritical in their beliefs, in their ideologies, and it's no judgment, it's no shame, it just is what it is. I'm just talking about it. Like, if you feel called out, if you feel triggered, that's on you. And that's another thing I was thinking about. I was thinking about like projections. Like, I already was talking about that, but like, so many people project their lack of intelligence, their insecurities onto others, and then they don't realize that they're doing it. And it's like, I don't know, I just wish more people were honest with themselves. Like, specifically, I was thinking about this in the context of a specific relationship that I have, and I was like, I just wish people were more honest with themselves. I was scrolling on Twitter this morning, and there was this one post, and it was basically this text thread, and this one person was like, you're not invited because you attract too much attention. And the other person was like, are you joking? What the fuck? And they were like, no, I'm not joking. I'm going downhill. And then they went on to explain, and they were like, you draw too much attention, like, I don't want you to be there. And then they responded, this is something that's been happening my whole life, and so I don't think we can continue this friendship. And this is another thing I was thinking about before I started recording. Like, a lot of the times, people are not thinking about, and this is another one of those things that you have to actually apply to your life. It's not like enough to just talk about it and agree with it. You have to apply it to your life. A lot of people do not think in full about the consequences of their actions when it comes to other people. Like, a lot of the times we don't think about the possibility of being a perpetual abuser. Like, we think that we are just doing something for us in the moment to protect ourselves, right? But then a lot of the times that other person has gone through that a lot. Like, that's what they said. They were like, I've been through this a lot. Like, I've had to dim my light for others all my life, so we can't continue this. And one thing, so many people do this. Like, I told y'all, I made a video recently about this person that I was having issue with, and I tried to squash it through their partner, and their partner made it clear to me that for some reason they also had a problem with me, even though there was no real reason for them to have a problem with me, honestly. And he had said to me, literally, you deserved it. When I was like talking about like getting the silent treatment, you know, he was like, you deserved it. And this was a weird moment for me because I had to really process this. I was like, what? And like, he probably did not consider for a moment that this was something that I've dealt with for a lot of my journey, for a lot of my life. And I wasn't going to sit there and explain that to him, but like, he didn't understand that. And so he was doing that in that moment and being another one of those people who like shit on me for no reason. And now he's in a psych ward. I don't necessarily take pride in that, but like, I do know that information now. And I do feel some sort of relief knowing that my God's got me. Because like, I literally did nothing to warrant that situation or that like frustration, like at all. Like, I hit on one of her boyfriends. We have to emphasize that part because there's multiple boyfriends. You have multiple boyfriends. Like, what the fuck? I hit on one of her boyfriends when she wasn't in the room. Like, she wasn't even a part of the equation. And somehow they used that to like justify, you know, being hateful toward me or whatever. I have no idea what was said when I wasn't around. I have no idea. I don't give a fuck, honestly. But I just know that there was like words said about me that were probably not true also. Because first of all, when the incident happened, he walked away as if we were okay, as if, you know, things were okay, things were Gucci. And then later I find out that he was irately upset. But I would have not known because he walked away with a smile. He walked away as if it was okay. And that's another thing, like, people just don't know how to communicate. People don't know how to communicate healthily. Like, a lot of people just hold things in until the perfect opportunity to let it out. And then it's like, but that's not the perfect opportunity because you could have just said it before you were angry. And now you're angry. Now you're saying things you don't even mean, you know? Or maybe you do mean them, but now your anger is allowing it to come out. But I digress. Like, I really do wish more people were like super duper honest. Because like, a lot of people try to avoid certain things or avoid certain feelings. And it's like, you don't even have to act on those feelings. But at least be real with yourself. At least be real with the people around you. You know what I mean? But maybe that's asking for too much. I don't know. And I don't know, specifically, if I could get a little bit transparent, I feel like I'm in a period in my life where I at least have the opportunity to transition into more harmonious relationships. And I would love that. I need that so desperately. But I'm still like learning, I think, the full ramifications of like being around people who do not have your best interest at heart. And I don't know, it makes me sad because it is very easy to be misled and to misunderstand a dynamic, because people will give you money, people will give you gifts, people will give you time and attention, but that is not the same thing as someone genuinely giving a fuck about you. And if nothing else from this video, I want to like emphasize this, because I feel like, especially when it comes to like family, we normalize certain behaviors, you know, because of titles, because of different actions. But it's like, you can tell, you can feel it in your bones when someone doesn't truly care about you. And it can be a scary thing. It can be a terrifying thing to listen to that voice, but it is so necessary. Like, I don't know, there's like some things that just are common sense to me, like even though I don't experience them, it's just common sense. Like, one thing for me personally when it comes to conversations, it should always be a give and take, a reciprocation sort of energy. And if you're talking to someone and you're not getting that, either they don't know how to have a healthy conversation or they don't give a fuck about you as a person, you know? And we could boil it down though, and I have to like remind you, like, you don't take that personal. Like, just because someone doesn't like you, just like, that's not you, that's them. Because ideally, we would all be tolerant of one another. We would all be, cool with one another, even if you don't like them. But that's not how people operate. So, anyways, but that's like a common sense thing for me. I'm sorry, I was like trying to figure out where to go from here. It's like a common sense thing to me. Like, I know as a conversationalist, as a person who loves conversation, like, I know how to have a conversation, like, I say something, you say something, I say something, you say something, and ideally also you say something relevant to what the other person said. Like, a lot of people have this mindset of, I need to dominate, I need to take control, and this translates to conversations all the time. Like, I hate to say it, but I find myself in conversation a lot with people who just want to feel in control, and there's no judgment, there's no shame, but like, it's exhausting and it's annoying when you're just trying to have a conversation. But like, most people don't know how to have a conversation. Like, the whole point of conversation, in my opinion, should be to do one of a few things. Either get to know someone, like learn something about someone or something, or, I'm going to turn around, or to further a story or further a narrative. And if you're not doing either of those things, like, what the fuck are we doing? We're just, And I used to always be like, I hate small talk. I hate having to do small talk. But I learned that small talk can be a great way to learn about someone, because what their brain defaults to as small talk says a lot about them as a person. For me, whenever I default to small talk, weather is one point of contention when it comes to small talk, and like, I'll like try to say positive things about the weather. I'll try to be like, the weather is really great today, or like, it's really nice out, or whatever, and I don't know, I feel like also that's a way for you to like know that I have like a positive mindset, like I have like a optimistic mindset, because I don't know, I feel like there's always something to complain about. Like, even in the most sunniest of atmospheres, you can still find something to complain about, but I digress. I don't, once again, if we could go backwards, I really wish that people could be honest with themselves more. Like, because I'm thinking about one specific relationship, and I don't know, part of me feels bad because I'm like, maybe I'm misunderstanding. Maybe this isn't accurate. But I've been developing my intuition so much, and I don't have the space or energy to allow the insecurities of others to make me question my own understanding of the world. Like, I'm open to being wrong. I'm okay with being wrong. I don't care about being wrong. But like, I don't think people truly understand like how dangerous it is. Or maybe they do understand and they don't care. But I don't think people understand how dangerous it is to like make someone question their intuition. Like, people do it intentionally all the time. People try to do that all the time. But I don't think you understand how dangerous that is. Because, like, people who do that are doing that for their own selfish reasons. Doing that so that they can do whatever they want to do with that person. But they're not thinking about the rest of this person's life. The other connections in this person's life. They're just thinking, what can I do to get what I need from this person? And I don't know, I'd like to believe that most people who walk in this way are not actively malicious, are not actively evil. But I do think it is an evil act to like make someone question their intuition. Because once again, your intuition is like literally the basis of like how you navigate the world. Like if you are someone who uses your intuitive abilities like all the time, and we all do, which is the craziest thing, because I don't know, some people be feeling like they don't have intuitive abilities or whatever, but like some people are more intuitive than they think they are. And that's also another thing. And it goes back to the like being honest with ourselves, because like I don't know, even most of the people that I've talked to about journaling don't journal. Like, not to put her out there, but I was talking to my counselor the other day, and I was like, we were talking about journaling, and I was like, do you journal? Like, because she asked me if I was journaling, and I was like, I haven't been. And she was like, I haven't been either. And like, once again, not to call her out specifically, but like a lot of people in certain professions do not do all that they could be doing for themselves. You know what I mean? Like, to stick with this theme, I guess, journaling is a pretty good practice, but a lot of therapists don't actually journal, you know, like they don't actually practice deep breathing. And it's like, one thing, it's not like a judgment call, it's not like, you know, you're a hypocrite, but at the same time, just be wary of like who you're taking advice from. Even me as I'm like saying this, because like, and I'll be the first to admit it, in some ways I can be hypocritical. Sometimes I can be not the best with my words, not the best with my promises, but I don't know, I think it makes me a little bit better of a person because I'm able to admit it. Like, a lot of people will like stand 10 toes down on a lie, and that is something I've never understood. Like, I guess in their brain they see it as more of a life or death situation, and so that's why they cling so much to lying. But I don't know, I've never really been in that space where I'm like, I don't know. I think there are situations where lying is necessary, but even then, like, you're only in that situation because you're doing things that you probably shouldn't be doing, you know? And then I feel like, once again, we have to be real with ourselves about that. Like, we can't, like, another thing, like, since I'm on this trajectory, since we're being real with ourselves, a lot of people, we make certain people famous who have certain characters, have certain egos or whatever. And a lot of the time, it's really a projection of the masses. You know what I mean? Like, specifically, I'm thinking of Ice Spice and that whole situation. A lot of people were really fucking with Ice Spice, like with her aesthetic, her music, like when she first came out or whatever. And then a lot of the people who are supporting her are going like, this is questionable, what's going on? And I'll see people talking in depth about like how she was wrong and she shouldn't have did this, and et cetera, et cetera. And I can't help but think intuitively in the back of my head, like, I just know you're one of those people who go out and behave the way that she was behaving. Like, I just know you are. You know, and maybe I'm wrong, but like, I just know it. And I'm like, you're sitting up here talking about this as if your hands are clean, as if you haven't done anything like what she's done, you know? And that's not why I haven't like talked publicly about it. Like, I've talked about it in passing, but I haven't like made a full-length video on like the situation. But like, I could, because my hands are clean, because I don't go around treating people like shit. You know, and I pride myself in that. Like, I pride myself in knowing that, like, usually I'm the one getting treated like shit. You know, I mean, that's not the part we pride ourselves on, but like, you know what I mean. And like, generally, I just wish more people could be honest with themselves. Like if no one else, be honest with yourself, because lying to yourself is like one of the biggest sins that you can do. Like, if you find yourself lying to yourself and trying to make yourself believe something, baby, you've gone too far. You've gone way too far. You need to turn back around. You know what I mean? But I digress. People are going to do what they want to do. This video is either going to reach people or it's not. And I thank you for watching. I thank you for being here. And I hope you have a nice rest of your day. Peace.